For the next part of this assignment, we're going to create another harmonic progression. The first two harmonic progressions that you created were done in the key of C major. These harmonic progressions we're going to do next, we're going to do in the key of C minor. Now, minor keys just have a different feel than major keys. I mentioned earlier that the harmony of a song kind of creates the mood. It's kind of like the background of a painting or an image. So minor keys are going to give us a different sort of mood for the song than we would get for a major key. And hopefully you'll hear that as we do this next assignment, or next part of the assignment. So the first thing we want to do is mute these other tracks that we've created. And again, we're going to click on the plus sign to add another software instrument. And the thing about these track headers, you can click on a track header and drag them to reposition. So I'm going to put this on the bottom. Now I'm going to go back to my loop library, and I'm going to get another drum loop to create with this one. And to start off, I'm just going to do 4 bars. Okay, and again, as you watch the videos, pause it at any time to go and do the steps as I'm doing them. So once you get your drum loop added, the next step is very important. You're going to come up to the top center of your Logic window and looking at this black box. Notice over here you have CMAJ. That's an abbreviation for C major. We want to change this to C minor. The way you do that is you click on this and you'll get a pop-up, and you want to come down until you should see at the very bottom of the list C minor, and we're going to change this to C minor. Now, our next step is going to be to come to our new track, and we're going to again turn the chord trigger on. But this time, instead of changing the factory default, we're going to leave it where it is. Now, also on your launch pad, you're going to want to change the layout that we use for the major key by clicking on the user button along the top edge of the launch pad. And this is going to set your launch pad up in to a layout that'll match this minor key. So once you have that done, you can play those 4 buttons at the bottom of the launch pad to hear what these chords are going to sound like. And again, playing the chords, the squares in a different order kind of gives it a different feel. But you can decide. Now I'm going to listen to the drum track again and just improvise some rhythms on these minor chords. And again, the same process. Once I get an idea of what I want to do, I'm going to get my playhead at the beginning, hit record, and then record a chord progression. And again, if you need to make any adjustments, you can double click on the region to pull up your editor, and you can click delete. You can either change the length to make it longer or shorter until you get it sounding the way that you want it to sound. Now, once you have that finished, guess what you're going to do next? We're going to mute these two tracks. I'm going to add another MIDI track or software instrument, clicking on the plus button. Software instrument, create. And I'm going to click on this track header and bring it down to the bottom. And then next, I'm going to open up my loop library, and I'm going to choose another drum track that I can record with this. Now, it's important on this new track, again, I've got to activate the chord trigger. So I'm going to make sure I have this track header selected. I'm going to close my library. I'm going to click on MIDI effects, chord trigger. And again, that's all I need to do. You don't need to make any further adjustments for this. So this first chord progression I played, I started with the green key, and then I went to the pink, and then I went to the yellow orangish, sorry, and then I went to the purple. So this time I'm going to use a different order. I think I'll use green, select the orange, then the pink, and then the purple. Yeah. Again, the order you decide to go in is up to you. And I'll record. Overlap there, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. So again, I want to hear these two chord progressions played together. So I'm actually going to click and drag over both of these regions. Then I'm just going to click on the region and drag to the right. I'm going to unmute and then adjust my cycle bar. Now I'm ready to hear the two phrases back to back. So hopefully you can hear how the change in the drum track, as well as the change in the chord progression, makes this a more interesting sound when it comes to creating the music. So again, this is going to be the second part, or I'm sorry, the third part, actually, I guess, of the assignment. So when you are finished with all of this, you should have a total of 8 tracks. The top 4 tracks are going to be the 2 chord progressions you did in C major, and tracks 5 through 8 should be the chord progressions you did in the key of C minor. So I hope you have fun experimenting. Don't be too critical of yourself because you are just learning how to do this for the first time. But I look forward to hearing what you come up with and with what you create. Good luck.